Opo.
Ha? Na-discuss na?
Hindi pa po, ma'am.
Okay. So, for the knowledge of each and every one of you, there will only be three. Tatlo lang po, for the midterm. The first one is calcium, the second one is phosphorus, and the third one is magnesium. So, hindi ko na po sinama yung isa. So, tatlo lang po sila. Iba po yung exam natin this midterm kaysa dun sa ibang block na may ibang professor or instructor. So, yung recording po ng magnesium will be uploaded later this night para po mapanood nyo na. Very brief lang naman po yun. Around, let's say, 40 minutes lang din naman or parang 35 to 40 minutes lang din naman para po ma-review nyo na yung magiging midterm exam natin para sa fluids and electrolytes. Okay. So, there are two blocks for this afternoon. And this presentation is being recorded for learning purposes only and meaning for your eyes only para po mabalikan ninyo just in case na hindi stable yung internet o yung sa mga wala po dito. Pakipaalala na lang po sa akin dun sa mga umattend po ng meeting, yun pong uling incentive na ibibigay ko po para po sa midterm. Okay. So our topic for this afternoon is calcium and phosphorus imbalances. So I have here a quote, switching your mindset from I can to I learn is life-changing. Malalaki na kayo, no? Alam nyo na yung mga ibig sabihin ng mga ganyang mga quote na directly naman na magiging kapakipakinabang sa inyo kung isa sa buhay nating lahat. Okay. Our learning outcome for this afternoon are as follows. We're going to understand calcium and phosphorus imbalance, describe the cause, clinical manifestations, management, and nursing interventions for the following imbalances, such as hypocalcemia, hypercalcemia, hypophosphatemia, and hyperphosphatemia, and plan effective care of patients with following such imbalances. So as much as possible, pag lumabas po kayo ng Zoom meeting na ito, ay alam nyo na po ano ang hypocalcemia, ano ang hyper, ano ang hypophosphatemia at ano yung technique para matandaan natin yung hypophosphatemia and hyperphosphatemia. Okay, let us start with calcium balance and imbalance. Very basic. It is a must for you to know what is normal in order for you to identify what is not normal. Palagi naman ganun eh. That's why when we're going to learn something, we are going to learn the normal of pedia. And then on the second semester, the abnormal of pedia. Ganon din. So, dapat alam natin yung normal calcium level at kahit anong um, electrolyte sa dugo. So, the normal calcium level is 8.8 to 10.5 milligrams per deciliter. If you will try to read different books with different authors, ay merong iba't ibang mga normal values for calcium. Minsan 8.5 to 10.5, minsan 8.5 to 10.8. But since we're following the book of Brunner and Sudarth, according to the book, it is 8.8 to 10.5 milligrams per deciliter. Anything below 8.8 is hypocalcemia, and anything above 10.5 is hypercalcemia. Okay, let's talk about calcium. Calcium acts as sedative on muscles. Meron daw pong kinalaman ang calcium kung ang muscles will be sedated or hyperactive. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin, alin ang sedated, alin ang hyperactive. Calcium is the most abundant electrolytes in the body. In the body, ha? Hindi lang sa dugo. Hindi sa dugo ang pinag-uusapan natin, kung hindi sa buong katawan. Bakit? Because 98% of calcium can be found deposited sa bone at sa teeth. So, napakaraming bones sa katawan, napakaraming teeth sa katawan. That is why there is the most abundant electrolyte in the body, but not sa dugo. Okay? Sa katawan lang natin. Calcium has an inverse relationship to phosphorus. Same as with sodium and potassium, na love and hate ang relationship, ang calcium at phosphorus ay love and hate ang relationship din nila. They are like seesaw. Pag tumaas yung isa, bumaba yung isa. Pag bumaba yung isa, tumaas din po yung isa. Calcium is also necessary for nerve impulse transmission, blood clotting, muscle contraction, and relaxation. So, hindi lang po platelet ang nakakakos ng blood clotting. Marami tayong tinatawag na clotting factors coming from the liver that is directly affecting the clotting cascade. There is also this calcium that contributes to clotting or pag-ampat ng pagdurugo. Hindi lang po ah hindi lang po platelet. Ano? So, the more na maraming calcium, the more na mas mabilis maampat yung dugo. Baligtarin nyo, the more na walang calcium, the more na mas malabnaw o hindi madaling maampat yung pagdurugo. Calcium ay kinakailangan for vitamin B12 absorption. Yung tinatawag nating vitamin B12 o ito yung cyanocobalamin or cobalamin kung saan tumutulong for healthy red blood cell. So para daw po ma-absorb yung vitamin B12, kailangan ng calcium. Okay? So ibig sabihin, pag walang calcium, pwedeng maputla din yung pasyente kasi walang vitamin B12 absorption. Calcium also promotes strong bones and teeth. Alam natin yan, di ba? Kasi sa mga advertisement sa television, sinasabi yan. Sa pag-inom ng gatas, it promotes strong bones and teeth. So, who needs extra calcium? Sino ang nangangailangan ng mas maraming calcium sa katawan? Siyempre, definitely, ang mga bata. Kasi ang mga bata or mga children, ang kanilang bone ay nag-e-elongate pa. Not unless mag-close ang epiphyseal plate niyan, saka pa lang yan hihinto ng pag-elongate ng bone. Sinasabi na kung ano yung calcium that is deposited on your bone, inside your bone, nung bata pa kayo, ay yun din yung calcium na laman ng buto nyo habang tumatanda kayo. That's why kailangan ng extra calcium para pag tumibay ang buto at mas matibay ang buto ng bata, ganun din habang tumatanda siya. Okay? Pregnant women. Pregnant women kasi they are bearing, nagbubuntis sila ng fetus inside the uterus na meron ding buto at meron ding mga ngipin na papatubo. That is why ang nanay ay nagbibigay ng extra calcium para tumibay ang buto ng fetus inside the uterus. So, kailangan palitan yon. Okay? Third is lactating women. Kasi ang breast milk po ay rich in calcium. And since ang mother ang nagpo-produce ng breast milk na rich in calcium at binibigay iyon sa baby, therefore, nauubusan ng calcium ang mother. Okay? So they need extra calcium. So these are the food sources that are rich in calcium. You have here milk, cheese, dried beans, and calcium must have vitamin D present to be utilized. So, kailangan ng vitamin D para ma-utilize or magamit ng katawan. So, don't get me wrong, ha? Kailangan ng vitamin D or cholecalciferol para ma-absorb ang calcium. Kailangan naman ng calcium para ma-absorb ang vitamin B12. Okay, balik po tayo sa vitamin D. Or again, also known as cholecalciferol. May mga pasyente tayo na marami naman silang calcium sa katawan. Pero bakit mababa o may hypocalcemia sila? Kasi baka walang vitamin D. That is why sometimes ang mga pasyente natin, instead of just giving them so many calcium, binibigyan sila ng vitamin D. Para yung calcium na iniinom nila ay ma-push na ma-absorb ng katawan through vitamin D. So pwedeng ibigay po yan sa ng through mouth or per oren, yan po yung mga naka-soft gel capsule. Okay, ito po ang parathyroid hormone and calcitonin. So, balikan po ninyo yung discussion natin, ano, during the prelim sa parathyroid hormone and calcitonin because that is very important when it comes to calcium. Okay, let us now go with hypocalcemia. Hypo, mababa, calcium, imia, dugo. Mababa ang calcium sa dugo. Definitely, when serum or dugo, calcium level drops below 8.8 milligrams per deciliter. Since calcium has something to do with muscle contraction and muscle relaxation, ang hypocalcemia po, pagka-hypocalcemic ang pasyente, ang muscle ng pasyente ay hyperactive. Ulitin ko ha, baligtad yan. Pag hypocalcemic, hyperactive. Pag mababa ang calcium, mabilis naman ang action ng muscle. Okay ha, baligtad po sila. What are the causes? Pag mababa yung calcium intake, pag may kidney illness, kasi sometimes pag may kidney illness, um, yung kidney nag-iihi, yan. So, alam natin that calcium is being excreted through the urine. So, the more na nag-iihi, the more na nawawala yung calcium sumasama sa pag-iihi. Decreased vitamin D. Sabi natin kanina, no? Pag walang vitamin D, walang absorption ng calcium. So, there will be hypocalcemia. Ganun din ang diarrhea. Ang calcium sumasama yan sa feces or sa pupo. So, therefore, pag nagda-diarrhea, the more po na nawawala yung kanyang calcium. Pancreatitis, hyperphosphatemia. 'Di ba? Sabi ko kanina, inverse ang relationship nila. So, the more na mababa ang calcium, the more na mataas ang phosphorus or phosphate. Pareho lang yan ha, huwag kayong malilito. Mababa ang calcium, mataas ang phosphate or hyperphosphatemia. Thyroidectomy. So, pag tinanggal yung thyroid gland, matatanggal ang parathyroid gland. And since parathyroid gland controls the parathormone or the parathyroid hormone, pag walang parathyroid hormone, walang calcium. So, there will be hypocalcemia. Hindi naman pwede mga anak na pag tinanggal yung thyroid, iiwanan yung parathyroid. Kasi yung parathyroid gland ay embedded at the back of the thyroid gland. So pag tinanggal yung thyroid gland, kahit walang problema yung parathyroid gland, matatanggal at obligadong matanggal yung apat na parathyroid gland. Ha? Apat po ang parathyroid gland. Medication such as calcium binders. So halimbawa, lahat po kayo dito sa meeting na ito ay mga calcium. At ako po ay nag-iisang calcium binder. Pag ako po ay ininom ng pasyente, since ako ay calcium binder, I will bind to each and every one of you. And the more the calcium, the active calcium binds to the calcium binder, the more they tends to be inactive. So pag kayo po ay calcium at ako po ay calcium binder at dumikit ako sa inyo, magiging inactive calcium kayo. Hindi na po kayo counted sa dugo. So therefore, on that note, bababa pa po ng bababa ang calcium. Okay, signs and symptoms. You have to take note. Hypocalcemia, pero hyperactive ang muscle, such as muscle cramps, tetany, convulsions, parehong hyperactive yan, di ba? Arrhythmia, hyperactive yan. And you also have the two pathognomonic sign or the two most unique sign of hypocalcemia. Though, itong dalawa po na ito ay ina-associate din nila sa phosphorus kasi inverse ang relationship nila. So therefore, since makikita mo ang positive Vostex or positive Chivostek sign and positive Trousseau sign in hypocalcemia, pwede mo siyang makita sa hyperphosphatemia kasi inverse ang relationship nila. Okay? Tingnan natin. Ano ba yung sinasabi natin na positive Vostex sign and positive Trousseau sign? As you can see on your right, yung positive Vostex sign po natin is when you do assessment to your patient and when you tap the facial nerve, the CH or the cheeks, the cheeks will move. There will be facial twitching or niniwi yung pasyente. Try to see that. Ganun ka-hyperactive ang muscles. Itatap mo lang yung muscle on the face and that is very minimal, di ba? That will serve as the stimulus already. Stimulus na agad yun. So magre-react na agad yung muscle. Pag nag-react na agad yung muscle, niniwi na yung pasyente. Ganun ka-hyperactive ang muscle. And that is Chvostek or Vostex sign. On your left, there you can see the Trousseau's sign. So the Trousseau's sign ay maating pwedeng itest. Halimbawa, ang BP ko is 120 systolic and 80 diastolic. So ang kukuhanin ko lang ay systolic. Kung 120 ang systolic plus 10, 130 kung i-inflate yung half nung pang BP or yung sphygmomanometer na tinatawag, yung BP cuff. So, pag nakayan ay naka-inflate na ng 130 millimeters mercury, maghihintay tayo ng 1 to 4 minutes. And then, you will notice ang ating pong ang kamay ng pasyente will have this carpopedal spasm. No? Nagiging letter T, as you can see there, nagkakaroon ng flexion, no? Palmar flexion. And that is positive Trousseau's sign. Okay? Between the two, teka lang, bakit nagkakaroon ng ano? Bakit nagkakaroon ng ganyan? Kasi, kagaya dito sa mata, sa mukha, no? Ang stimulus mo is when you tap. Dito, ang stimulus mo will be the inflation of the BP cuff. Okay? So between the two, ang mas masakit at mas painful daw po for the patient is the Trousseau's sign. Because that carpopedal spasm lasts kahit na tinanggal pa yung BP cuff. Okay? So again, these are the two pathognomonic signs of hypocalcemia. Sometimes, ito ang starting point ko. Sa dami ng pinag-aaralan natin sa fluids and electrolytes, ito ang starting point ko when I talk about calcium. Bakit? Because I already know in my mind that since Vostex starts with letter C, I'm talking about calcium. Okay? So alam ko na pag hypocalcemic, the pathognomonic sign is Vostex. Alam ko rin na pagka Vostex and Trousseau's sign, konting stimulus mo lang, gumagalaw ang muscle. So therefore, yung hypocalcemia na ang pathognomonic niya ay Vostex, ang counterpart niya ay hyperactive ang muscle. Okay. What else are the signs and symptoms? Laryngeal spasm. Okay? Sa mga nalilito pa, the larynx, la la la, voice box, no? Ang larynx and even the trachea, meron niyang mga smooth muscle na nakaring, di ba? Para siyang nakaakap dun sa larynx and sa trachea. So since muscles are hyperactive, try to imagine namumulikat yung mga smooth muscle na yon and masasakal yung larynx. Di ba? Pag namulikat, hindi lang yung larynx, masasakal din yung trachea. So, mababa ang calcium, hyperactive ang muscle, nasasakal ang larynx, nasasakal ang trachea, pwedeng hindi madaluyan, no? Madaluyan ng hangin ang lungs. So, laryngeal spasm is a life-threatening condition. Kaya po, yaan ay para bang meron ka ng antabay agad. Pag may hypocalcemia ang pasyente, dapat merong IV calcium gluconate at client's bedside. Bakit IV? Because IV is the fastest route of administration, di ba? So, dapat you always have to keep the vein open. What else? Worst comes worst. Ang pasyente, since magsha-shut off ang kanyang trachea, so dapat may tracheostomy at client's bedside. Kasi, pag hindi nangyari yon, hindi makakahinga ang pasyente. Alam naman natin that 4 minutes lang na walang supply ng oxygen ng brain, there will be brain damage. Okay, hyperactive. Hyperactive ang DTR. Okay? There will also be changes in the ECG. So, hindi lang pala potassium ang may changes in ECG. May changes din pala ang calcium. Okay. There might be respiratory arrest because some muscles in the lungs may become rigid that may decrease the airflow. there will be change in the level of consciousness because the brain ay kinakailangan ng calcium to function. So since walang calcium, walang proper na pag-function ang brain, so there will be change in the level of consciousness. Okay? There will be increased, hyperactive na eh. There will be increased gastric activity. So test. O, dalawa di ba? Ano yung mga tests na yan? Sa dugo, assess for electrolytes. Sabi ko nga, electrolyte panel ang tawag dyan. What else? Since there is a change in ECG, ECG may be performed. Basta tatandaan natin, ha? Not all the time. Pag may abnormality sa ECG, that is directly coming from the heart. Hindi ibig sabihin na, ay may bagbabara yung ugat ng puso, ay hindi ibig sabihin na directly may problema yung mga valvula ng puso. Maaaring yung mga electrolytes na ito, since heart is a muscle, is directly affecting the muscles. So therefore, there will be ECG changes and ECG may be performed para makita po ang change na yan. Treatment, depending on the underlying cause. Definitely, palagi naman tayong ganun sa electrolytes, di ba? Pag merong kidney problem and that is the cause, then we have to treat the underlying cause. Since mababa ang calcium, there will be augmentation by means of giving IV calcium gluconate. Since there is a problem or there will be changes in the ECG, there should be a heart monitor. Pwedeng vitamin D therapy kasi baka hindi na-absorb. Bigyan ng increased dietary calcium. Same as with the explanation in the sodium that not all the time ay dapat agad-agad tayong magbibigay ng health teaching na since mababa ang kanyang calcium, dapat bigyan mo agad ng mataas ng calcium. May mga pagkakataon na hindi rin gano'n ang sitwasyon. Because as we all know, calcium is also responsible sa pagpapataas ng BP ng isang pasyente. Pag halimbawa mataas ang BP ng pasyente at may hypocalcemia, magdadalawang isip ka muna, di ba? Papayuhan mo ba yung pasyente mo to increase dietary sodium or pababain mo muna yung BP through different medication, saka siya pakakainin ng mataas ang calcium level ng mga pagkain. So, giving health teaching, again, ay pinapaalala ko, ay dapat taking into considerations the other pathologic conditions of the patient. Because not all the time, dapat, para tayong kabayo na straightforward lang tayo. So we have to consider other circumstances as well. Complications. Again, you have to you have to bear in mind, hypocalcemia, hypo, mababa yun, pero hyperactive ang muscles such as seizures, laryngospasm, respiratory arrest, and then arrhythmia. So all of these pertains to hyperactivity of muscle. Okay, question. You may use the chat box to answer the question. Please do participate. Bakit hindi ko makita? Yun. Okay. I'm actually waiting for the chat box. Yan. Okay. Thank you so much sa mga sumagot. Ano po? Okay. Since calcium level is 9.0 and the normal is 8.8 to 10.5, that is between normal. So no intervention required at this time. Okay. Hypo, calcemia, mabilis, or hyperactive ang muscle. Baligtad sila. Now let's go to hypercalcemia. Lahat ng calcium level that exceeds 10.5 milligrams per deciliter sa dugo, that is considered hypercalcemia. And since kanina, hyperactive ang muscle, ngayon, sedated naman ang muscle. Kung kanina, hyperactive ang muscle, ngayon, hypoactive naman ang muscles, such as decreased deep tendon reflexes, muscle weakness, Renal calculi, okay? Calculi is a medical term, a plural term for calculus. It's not the subject, okay? Calculus is a medical term for stone. The lay term for calculus ay bato. Okay? Renal ay kidney. So, renal calculi ay kidney stone. In Tagalog, bato sa bato. Bakit? Try to imagine, maraming calcium sa dugo. Ano bang organ ang nag-filter ng dugo? Kidney. So, kung maraming calcium sa dugo, try to imagine, maraming maliliit na buhangin. Ano? Ganon kasi ang manifestation ng calcium eh. Pagka when you try to touch the calcium, ganon. Para siyang mga buhangin. On that note, ang nangyayari is, pag finilter yan ng kidney, definitely filter. Para ka nag-filter ng pansit canton, di ba? Yung iba, maiiwan dun sa kidney. Yun ang magbubuo-buo ngayon. Sabi nga po, 85% ng mga bato na nabubuo sa katawan natin is made up of calcium oxalate coming from the calcium. Eh sana, kung ang mabubuo sa katawan mo, paglabas sa katawan mo, diamond, no? Gem, sapphire, ruby. Eh kaso hindi eh. 'Di ba? Ang namumuo ay very harmful to the host or very harmful sa pasyente. Ito yung madalas na nililithotripsy. Hindi lamang po kidney ang madalas nagkakaroon ng bato ng bato, no? Pwede rin 'yan sa gallbladder, sabi ko pwede rin 'yan sa parotid gland and the different parts of the body na pag doon napunta yung pamumuo ng calcium. Okay. So, anong gagawin? Sasegwayan ko na ha, para mabilis yung discussion. Pag maraming calcium sa dugo at ayaw mong magkaroon ng bato sa bato, uminom ka ng maraming tubig. Painumin ng maraming tubig ang pasyente. Ma'am, pwede ba agad-agad? Siyempre, titingnan mo muna yung underlying disease. Baka meron yung congestive heart failure, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yun. Baka hypertensive yan, hindi mo po pwedeng gawin yun. Okay? Pero kung yan ay walang mga underlying pathology, pag mataas ang calcium, i-force palagi ng fluid para maiihi yung excess calcium kasi ang calcium ay nailalabas sa ihi. Okay. What else? Pathological fractures. The more ang pasyente ay bedridden, the more ang pasyente ay tumatakas ang calcium niya sa dugo. Okay? Pag bedridden ang pasyente, sabi natin, you always have to turn the patient every 2 hours to prevent pneumonia. You have to turn the patient every 2 hours because it's proprioception in oxy. You've learned that. That is proprioception. You always in the side of the fluids and electrolytes, you always have to turn the patients every 2 hours because the more na hindi gumagalaw ang buto, the more na tumatakas yung calcium na nasa loob ng buto at pwedeng pumunta sa dugo. Sa ganong sitwasyon, there will be hypercalcemia. At pag nawalan o nabawasan ng calcium sa buto, there will be pathologic fracture. Okay. What else? Central nervous system depression, lethargy, coma, and confusion because excess calcium sedate the central nervous system kasi sedation nga ito, di ba? So there will also be ECG changes, kagaya ng hypocalcemia. There will be ECG changes in hypercalcemia. So papasok agad sa isip mo, may ECG sa test. Oo, may ECG sa test mamaya. There might also be respiratory arrests. There might be sedation of the respiratory muscles that increase the oxygenation. So, hindi lang siya sa hypo, no? Kasama rin siya sa hypercalcemia, magkaiba lang ng pathology. There will be decreased bowel sound kasi nga po there will be hypoperistalsis kasi yung intestine hindi na masyadong gumagalaw. There might be increased in urine output because the body tends to flush out the excess calcium. The kidneys are working hard to get rid of the excess calcium. Increased clotting time, nabanggit ko na yan kanina. The more na maraming calcium, the more na maraming pag-clot ng dugo. There might also be kidney stone. Okay, napag-usapan na rin natin yan kanina. So there will be 5 tests. Test, 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 test. test, 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 test. Okay. Serum electrolytes. Simple lang. Kasi dugo ang titingnan mo. ECG. Kasi may ECG changes. X-ray. Kasi there might be pathologic fracture or there might be respiratory arrest. Ultrasound. Yung UTZ po ay ultrasound. Okay? Yung ibang doktor po, para hindi kayo malito, instead na UTZ ang nilalagay nila, they are putting USG. Okay? Hindi po yun urine specific gravity ha. Ang USG po ay ultrasonography. Okay. Bakit magpapa-ultrasound? Kasi there might be stones in the different parts of the body and urinalysis. Okay? Sabi nga natin, ang calcium ay nailalabas through the urine. So, pwedeng ma-detect yan through urinalysis. What else? Pag po tayo ay nagpa-urinalysis at nakita natin that there are traces of RBC or red blood cell at sa mga babae, hindi ka naman re-reglahin, hindi ka naman nire-regla, at sumasakit ang balakang mo, no? Check mo baka may UTI. Or baka may bato sa bato. Baka yung maliliit, sabi ko nga para silang buhangin na maliliit, di ba? Baka dahan-dahan po yun na nadidislodge dun sa malaking bato, sa bato. At yung maliliit na natanggal na yon ay gumagasgas sa urethra na pwedeng mag-cause ng maliliit na pagdugo na nadedetect ng urinalysis. So in doing urinalysis, in reading results of urinalysis, you have to have at the back of your mind the differential diagnosis of patient. Bakit may pus? Bakit may red blood cell? Diba? And at the same time, you always have to correlate it clinically to the patient. Halimbawa, naku, sabi ni Ma'am China, pag daw merong trace ng red blood cell, meron daw bato sa bato. Di ba? Tingnan mo muna, baka naman kasi nire-regla siya during that time. Baka naman kasi nakatatapos lang, may spotting pa siya. Yun ang na-detect. So, it should always be clinically correlated. Treatment, saan galing? So, diba? Depending on the underlying cause. Normal saline or normal saline solution because this will help the blood to be diluted para ma-force din yung liquid, yung calcium out of the body. Or IV phosphate. Bakit? Kasi mataas yung calcium. Pag binigyan ng IV phosphate, mataas sila pareho. Inverse nga ang relationship nila. So the more you give IV phosphate, the more na bumababa ang calcium. Kasi again, inverse ang relationship nila. Complications are respiratory depression and arrhythmia. Okay, so you have here the question. I'm actually waiting for the answer sa chat box. What effect does calcitonin have on serum calcium level? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Calcitonin. Calcitonin. Okay. Don't forget the PBAB. And then calcitonin will follow. 'Di ba? PBAB, the parathyroid gland, is getting calcium from the bone to the blood. And calcitonin is getting calcium from the blood to the bone. 'Di ba? Baligtad po kasi sila. So pagka merong calcitonin, kukuha ng calcium mula sa dugo papunta sa buto. So mawawalan po ng calcium ang dugo. So there will be decrease in serum calcium. You start with PBAB. Okay? Next po, next. Pwede po natin gamitin chats box. Ano yun? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, next. O, yung mamamali po ng sagot, ano? Iba-block na po natin yan forever and ever and ever. Okay, chat box po tayo. Yung sasagot po ng lungs, ano? Sige, lagyan ko po ng calcium ang baga mo ba? Para pag hinga mo, ano, sasama yung calcium. Gigil ako sa'yo ba? Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about phosphorus. Phosphorus balance and imbalance. Okay. So ang phosphorus po natin is 2.5 to 4.5 milligrams per deciliter. Anything below 2.5 is hypophosphatemia. Ayan na ha. Wala. Hypophosphorusemia. Walang ganun, ano? Phosphatemia yun, ano? Kaya huwag nalilito. Ano naging T yun? Eh, phosphorus. Gigigil ako no mali si Ma'am China. Anything above 4.5 is hyperphosphatemia. No, wala pong hyperphosphorusemia. Ay, nako. Ah, phosphorus promotes the function of muscle, red blood cell, and nervous system. It assists with carbohydrates, protein, and fat metabolism. And the food sources are beef, pork, dried peas, beans, instant pudding. That is just according to the book. Okay. And yes, it has an inverse relationship with calcium. So parang kayo yan. Lagi kayong magkaaway, ano? Pero nagmamahalan din naman kayo, pero parang hindi nga kayo calcium and phosphorus. Sige. Regulated by the parathyroid gland. Bakit ma'am? Sabi mo kanina, calcium lang. Eh since calcium and since parathyroid gland ay nire-regulate ng calcium, parathyroid gland na rin ang nagre-regulate ng phosphorus kasi again, they have an inverse relationship. Okay. Now let's go with hypophosphatemia. Sipin nyo ha, hypophosphatemia is hypercalcemia. Serum phosphate that is below 2.5 milligrams per deciliter. Uulitin ko, hypophosphatemia, inverse ang relationship nila, that is equivalent to hypercalcemia. Causes. Now, signs and symptoms. Hypophosphatemia just looks like hypercalcemia. Yun naman ang kagandahan nilang dalawa, no? Pag sinabi nating inverse ang relationship, inverse talaga ang relationship nila, pati sa signs and symptoms, pati sa causes. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, di ba, yung Voss-Tex sign, yung Voss-Tex sign that is associated with hypocalcemia is also associated with hyperphosphatemia kasi inverse ang relationship nila. Unlike sodium and potassium na kakabisaduhin mo talaga lahat. Kasi meron silang pasikot-sikot na talagang magkaiba sila kahit talaga naman ding inverse ang relationship nila. So test, serum electrolytes, and then X-ray. Treatment, ulitin natin, depending on the underlying cause. But since we are talking about hypophosphatemia, pwede siyang bigyan ng supplemental phosphorus. Ano po? Pwedeng bigyan yan ng supplemental phosphorus. It can be given per ORM or IV or may be added in tube feeding. Pero tatandaan natin, andito naman po yan, yan. Kailangan po, bago magbigay ng phosphorus, the gastrointestinal tract is functioning properly, especially the small intestine. Bakit? Kasi ang phosphorus po na isusupplement mo sa hypophosphatemia ay naa-absorb sa small intestine. So kahit magbigay tayo ng supplemental phosphorus and we are expecting na tumataas ang phosphorus level, hindi pala. Kasi may problem pala sa small intestine. The additional treatment depends on the underlying cause. Complication might be respiratory depression or arrhythmia. Okay, napakadali po nung susunod na tanong. Okay. Pero gamitin niyo pa rin po yung chat box para makita ko naman po na nagpa-participate at deserve naman yung plus na ibibigay ko kasi binigyan niyo naman ako ng Di ba sana all binibigyan ng siya nga hindi mo binibigyan pero umattend ka ngayon, di ba? O di ba ang bilis sumagot, narinig yung plus. O di ba? Unang-una hindi ko I hope na naintindihan niyo talaga, no? Pangalawa, sayang kasi yun, sayang, sayang. Okay. Hyperphosphatemia. Hyperphosphatemia, baligtad. So ito ay hypocalcemia. But when you look into the blood, the serum phosphate level is about 4.5 milligrams per deciliter. Ang hirap tandaan. Hyperphosphatemia, hypocalcemia. Kaya pag alam mo yung hypocalcemia at hypercalcemia, alam mo agad ang hypophosphatemia at hyperphosphatemia. Tests, electrolytes, and then X-ray. Treatment, depending on the underlying cause. Pwedeng magbigay ng vitamin D. Bakit magbibigay ng vitamin D? Hyperphosphatemia is also equivalent to hypocalcemia and the precursor para ma-absorb ang calcium ay vitamin D. Di ba? Pag umukay ang calcium, okay ang phosphorus. Ito ha, don't get me wrong. Hindi sila palaging magkaaway. Ha? Pwede ba silang even? Pwede. Pwede silang even. Pero pag yung isa tumaas, automatic isa bababa. Pag isa mababa, automatic isa tataas. Pero pwede silang pantay. Administration of phosphate binding gel. Kung kanina may calcium binding gel, may phosphate binding gel din. Again, kung ako ay phosphate binding gel at lahat kayo ay phosphorus at meron tayong hyperphosphatemia dito, pag binigyan mo ko ng phosphate binding gel at ako ay nag-bind sa'yo, magiging inactive ka na. So yung existing condition ng pasyente na merong hyperphosphatemia, pag binigyan ng phosphate binding gel, might lead to normal phosphate level. So you just have to analyze it properly. Pag may hyperphosphatemia, pwedeng bigyan ng phosphate binding gel pag bumaba, para bumaba. Pero pag nasobrahan, yung hyperphosphatemia kanina ay pwedeng maging hypophosphatemia at ang reason naman nun ngayon is because of sobrang daming phosphate binding gel. Kasi again, pag nasobrahan, sobrang baba naman ang magiging resulta nun sa phosphorus. Restriction of dietary phosphorus and possibly dialysis kung hindi na po kayang i-treat yung phosphorus level, magkakaroon ng emergency dialysis. Ito naman yung mga klase ng dialysis na gagawin not because sira ang kidney, gagawin because temporarily lilinisin yung blood, if-filter yung blood para mawala yung excess phosphorus. Okay. Complications, seizures, laryngospasm, respiratory arrest, and arrhythmia. Okay. Actually, that's the end of the presentation. Meron lang akong mga bilin, okay? Um, in memorizing the electrolytes in the blood, dapat alam nyo lahat ng inverse ang relationship, such as sodium, potassium, such as calcium, phosphorus. Kaya kung napansin nyo, nung dinidiscuss natin yan, magkasama at magkasama sila. Okay. The second thing is, lahat ng may sum magkapatid. Paano siya magkapatid? Lahat ng sum, direct ang relationship nila. Potassium, calcium, magnesium. Kaya nga pag diniscuss ko sa inyo or pinanood nyo yung video ko about magnesium, pagka yung calcium controls the muscle action, muscle contraction and relaxation, ganun din ang magnesium. Kung papansinin nyo, ganun din ang potassium. Kasi sium lahat ng apelido nila, no? So, walang sodium, ano? Sodium yun. Yes, isesend ko po yung PowerPoint and even this presentation isesend ko to augment yung pagre-review po ninyo. Okay, so going back, kung mapapansin din ninyo, pagka nag-discuss ako ng magnesium, kung ano yung counterpart niya sa calcium, ganun din ang action nila sa blood. Kapag merong hypercalcemia, sedated ang muscle. Pag may hypermagnesemia, hypoactive or sedated din ang muscle. Kasi they go hand in hand. Okay? So, yun ang tatandaan nyo lahat ng may SHUM. You just have to be wise. Ano, baka naman mamaya yung SHUM, hindi nyo pa alam yung spelling. Sabi ni Ma'am China, lahat ng SHUM, direct ang relationship. Di ba? So, I will stop sharing. Si Ma'am na President ni Black 5, nakita nyo na po ba? Na-screenshot nyo na po ba yung umattend? And Mr. Gallardo, na-screenshot nyo na po ba yung umattend? Pakisend nyo po sa GC. So I can give you incentive para po sa pag-attend nyo. Ayan. Do you have other questions? Ay, okay. It's very unfortunate that akala ko po kasi magkikita pa po tayo next week. Tapos, exam na po pala. No? So, namali po ako ng timeline. The exam will only be calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium. And that is very, very short. No? You just have to read your notes. You just have to watch the video and read the PowerPoint presentation. At masasagot nyo yung nandoon sa exam natin. All multiple choice, yung tanong, I'm actually opening it now. All multiple choice question yung tanong natin. And then, at the end of it, you're going to shade A. Yan. I am going to give you the sign or the symptom, and then you're going to shade A. No. Shade A if it is correct, and shade B if it is incorrect. Okay. So, ganun lang. Calcium has direct relationship with magnesium. A or B. Ganun lang siya. Magnesium causes vasoconstriction of arteries and veins. Correct or incorrect? Yan. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo, you just have to have your notes, read your notes, and then watch the presentation. And also the PowerPoint. Makikita nyo, outcome, calculi. Ano ba dun yung may calculi? Hypercalcemia, hypocalcemia. Increased clotting time, hyper. Ganun lang ang ginawa kong examination. Pero hindi nyo pa rin definitely dapat kayong maging lax kasi ang aim natin is maging mas mataas kayo dun sa grades nyo ng prelim. Okay, do you have other questions that we can attend to?